Hello world. Patricia, O'Connor, and Frida, Reba, Darcy here. I think I'm on camera, no monitor. This is Patricia and Frida at Frida's place tonight. We are we're potting up this little Ponderosa. This was supposed to be Saturday Night Live. This was the show I wanted to make for Saturday Night Live. We had technical difficulties, and so all dressed up and nowhere to go, and a tree standing by ready to go. Per diem already doled out. We're a go. So this is going to be our next show, although it will no longer be a live show. Enough of the wanted. What we're going to do tonight is pot up this beautiful little Ponderosa pine. We ordered 10 Ponderosa pines from a nursery last summer, and it was probably some of the finest specimens of trees I've ever been shipped. Everything about the way they were shipped, the speed that they were shipped, how they were packed, and everything else was just so top flight. And it was a real cool little, Hansel and Gretel little name, like Scenic Hill Nursery Farm. Part of me doesn't feel like I got that right, but I believe that's what it was. And they were either in Oregon or Washington. I would give them a look if you were interested. And they were cheap. We got 10 of them. They were the healthiest little trees I'd ever seen. And they came in plugs, and they came very nicely shipped and very nicely hydrated, and they were super, super healthy. So we took those 10 trees and put wire on them and started throwing motion to those guys pretty much the same way we had done most of our pines. And we learned a little bit about that. And this is one of the last ones out of all of those pines that we did, out of all of those 10 Ponderosas, one of them, I had a wiring mishap that left it a little scarred, and that was my first hint that they don't recover from that quite as easily as Japanese black pines do. So out of those 10 trees, I had a couple of wiring mishaps, and it cost me one tree. Then we lost 2 or 3 over a heat spell. Whenever we had them, everything was going great right up until it turned October, and we got our 90-degree October. And at about that time, I think I probably lost 5 or 6 black pines and 2 or 3 little Ponderosas. Those trees could normally take high temperatures like that, but probably not. They're probably trying, thinking they will be more winter hardy than getting socked with the 90 degrees. So that has taken us down a few. And out of all of those left, all of them have been potted up with the exception of this guy. So this is our last Lucy. This is our one that's been hanging out, awaiting its time. And it's been sitting in that pot because I was looking at it earlier, and I think that's our angle for this guy. I also think this is a terrific little tree. Let me tell you a little bit about this. If you go back in our Ponderosa videos, you'll probably find where I brought this tree in the house and cut the top off this little pot and dressed that back and threw some wire on it and just went to town on this tree. And the motion that this little pine has right now is really good. It's a better specimen. It was a better tree than I was a wire applier. I would say on a few of these I hit my mark, and on a few of these I didn't, and on a couple of them where I didn't hit my mark, or like I mentioned earlier, I scarred up a tree and it didn't survive that. This one, I had the tree kind of curl out of some wiring mistake that I had made, and in the end, um, I'm not really happy with my wiring, but the tree doesn't have a blemish on it, and the motion came out. I got the motion out of the tree that I wanted. So that's one of those little lessons. One of those little lessons about when it's the early going and the wire is not going to be on there for a prolonged amount of time because the tree is going to be growing fast. You're feeding it and you're trying to accelerate the growth and all that. If you're getting the results you want, don't worry about if you missed something on your wiring and get rid of it for fear of being seen. It's the results that matter. I have wrecked things before trying to remove a wire that was basically doing the job it was intended. It just didn't look like it was professionally done, and I thought I could do a better job, and I did a really great job of wrecking that tree. So you got to remember, even if you're really on your game, that's going to be wearing on something when you wire it, and then if you turn right around and pull that back off, you have to be doubly careful about how you go about that. And in that case, it was just totally unnecessary because I had achieved the motion I wanted to achieve. So that's kind of how that works. You can see here that on this tree, after I wrapped the wire around the entire tree, I ran it out of the bottom of this hole and curled it up. That way, the motion that we put in the tree would not have a great effect on what was going on below the surface. The pot we're going with is this drum pot. It was one of Elizabeth Crutenden's pot. It is absolutely a beautiful pot. I think it is big enough for this guy, and I think it's a good choice. I need to put a screen in it and some tie down wires, but I think we have everything we need. I think we did a pretty good job of getting everything we need standing by. I have some bonsai scissors. I have some Japanese pliers. I have some Japanese wire cutters. I have my prune X. I have a couple of little pair of small needle nose pliers that I got from our hardware store. So, and I think I have my weenie skewers. I have a pie tin with some substrate standing by, and I have my little scooper. So we should be a go here without a whole lot of bother. I should be able to go to pool. Now, would have been cool. I also slid the coffee table out of the way and moved. See, that was just it, to have a sound issue over the video that I wanted to do tonight. I'd already gotten ready to do the show. I'd already rearranged the furniture. I'd already lit the living room. That's the way it goes. We'll survive, Wire. Go over here for wire. There we go. This I got this from work. It's from a company, Bucket Boss. That tells me that it's like those 5-gallon buckets, those plastic 5-gallon buckets that you see that paint come in and other stuff come in and you see people use all the time. They make canvas bags that would fit in those, that would have pockets all around the outside, so all your stuff can end up on the bottom of a bucket or the bottom of a pouch. Yeah, that's our stuff. That can work. I'll go with that. Actually, yeah, we'll use this. We're going with aluminum wire. It's a little heavy, but it's aluminum, so it does like a third as much right off the top. I have a finer spool, but I don't have a. Oh yeah, I don't have it handy apparently. We'll live. Again, we'll live. So this would have been used also keep wire in, but it wouldn't have been used for bonsai wire. It probably would have been used for cables that you would use in your business if you were in if you were doing electronic stuff, or you had some sort of, you know, seismic equipment or something where you had like these cables that would be long. You would keep them in here, or if you were a drummer, you might use these as cymbal bags. Yeah, I could see that. I could see somebody using those. Yeah, that's going to be too big to go in there. Too big to go in there. Yeah. Okay. We had some beautiful, beautiful weather today. I am almost through editing a video where we did a walkthrough on the balcony, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed just, it's just a pleasure right now. Everything's healthy. Our all of our natural enemies to bonsai seem to be behaving themselves, or are long gone at the moment. You know, skies are blue, the weather's nice, the trees are green. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. It's our day off with another one tomorrow. So yeah, I was loving today for sure. And I did a walkthrough. I enjoyed doing a nice walkthrough. We just kind of went. I don't know why that's giving me trouble right there. I went through and did a walkthrough of pretty much everything we had on the balcony. And my thinking was that if I dropped it today, like I could have dropped it maybe 5 or 6 o'clock, then it would have only gone till 5 or 6 o'clock, and then it would have gotten covered over by the live video, which wouldn't show up on the other stats unless you clicked live. You know, there'll be a thing where it says live shorts and all that. So you'd have to click on live to see the live video that we ended up not doing, that this ended up becoming. But otherwise, yeah. Okay. Now I need that to be more, I need that to behave. I knew I was going to drop those. I moved my toes because I knew I was about to drop those. Like, those are coming through. Yay. All right. So that brings us to this guy. As I stated earlier, a couple of these guys I had my wiring on point, but when I first got these trees and started wiring them, I had already taken a few weeks off in between our last round of little Japanese black pines and and these ponderosas. And it's not an excuse, but in hindsight, looking back, my first couple of trees were not wired as well as I would have liked. It's like I seemed like I had to kind of get back in the hang of it again. I had to remember stuff that I had done wrong the first time, the second time, so as not to repeat that. And then I had to, that same old song and dance. Now, when I started this video, we were looking at this tree, and it was sitting in here like this. And there was a reason for that. I really liked that angle. And this is one of those trees where a little rake back at the base exposes more base goodness. Look at all that perlite. That is a lot of perlite. We can do better than that, little tree. If you thought you liked that, and you did, evidently, you were going to love this. Feed that out just a little bit. Now, what I was looking at earlier was this much of the trunk was under the substrate. This substrate here, where you can see that little bit of light. Maybe you can see that little bit of light right through here. That was substrate. And I was watching the trunk come out of the ground and then go right back into the ground and come out, and I go, we're missing part of the tree here. We're missing part of this. Not only is this a dynamite looking little tree, but we're missing part of its story. In that base is coming out of the ground and then goes right back in it. This hoop that's coming up really big, that's what I'm talking about whenever I said I certainly missed my mark on the wiring of this guy. However, the trunk comes out of the ground and does a really terrific bend this way, and then it hooks on around to make its second point where I grabbed it, where that wire just happens to be right there at the right place in the right time to keep that from closing up. So that kind of makes sense if you were looking as closely at it as I am. But the bottom line of the story is that I was able to get the shape that I wanted out of the tree, even if I wasn't able to get the shape that I exactly wanted out of the copper wire. And I wouldn't mess with that to try to make the copper wire be more to my liking. In a few more months, whatever that means, just all know by watching it, I'll cut that copper wire loose, and it will have done a great job for us, and we will have gotten. Notice how the Cheerios on here, I was really impressed by those. They didn't collapse, they didn't fall, they're a good shape. Now, as this tree fattens up, and it fattens up because we've got all that wire on it and stuff, I'm going to empty that out a little. That's just going to play right into our hands for the rest of that too. So, yeah, that's all going to be good. In fact, it all already is. Now let's make sure that we have our eye on the prize here, Patricia. Yeah. I see it. I see the see the little thing I'd like this to be. Let go of my finger. Okay. Sorry. I'm hiding behind a pile of perlite. Sorry. Okay. Well, that's happy there. That's happy and comes out there. This comes out right there next to it. I'm doing it on your side. Okay. Get that out of my way. Come on, Pat. Oh, which way are we going? Oh, we're going this way. Okay. We can do that. Switch hands. That part where I inverted it, I got lost when I came around. It's okay. Ambidextrous, dyslexic. Yeah, both of those things. And then we cut that off in the shape of a jagged projectile. And then bend it down, hopefully. This little guy, I'm really gonna like the way this is gonna come off now. That wire that I just moved a lot. Okay, what do I need to do with that? We could fix that. We could fix that, except that wire is going to be hard to bend now, I bet. Yeah, very hard to bend. Okay, here we go. Okay. We were able to repair that wire that we kind of dropped the ball on earlier, and make that right, make that better. And now we're actually using more of it, and we're able to accentuate the move back here because of it. So that was also a plus. Now, I want to raise this tree up a little. And chalk this substrate up underneath it. Try to get this Cheerio up off that lip that it was just then resting on before I lifted a finger. Okay. You know, I feel like this is really coming together pretty nice. I was looking over at this tree and the table and the equipment and looking at my microphones over there that are both sitting there, and I had said this before, I don't mind when we have technical issues. It's a live program. That's kind of what makes it a little, I'm not like jumping the Grand Canyon on a motorcycle or nothing, but that's kind of what makes it exciting, the part where anything can happen and it's a live program. So, you go in thinking that you might see if you might have a few issues when it's all said and done, and when that happens, that's not that big a deal. What I kind of don't like, though, is when I don't figure it out. Never got either one of my two microphones to come online. I could see a light on the base unit that's plugged in. I have no idea. The only thing I can think of is that the video that I shot today is still on USB, and that's still plugged in. I can't understand if that would somehow interfere with the other functions that were going on, but it might be. It might be that was the USB jack that it was trying to turn on for microphone or something, But if I don't figure it out, then that's what I'm saying. That kind of bothers me, because I'll go into next week still not knowing why that happened. How is it that we didn't happen, and how is it that we, what is it we need to make sure we don't do for next time? I gotta say though, on the whole, I would say we've been pretty lucky. We've been pretty lucky. We haven't had that many technical issues. There for the first 3 weeks, we had a technical issue with every show, and tonight was the first time that we were ever able to ever not able to do a show, and it was over microphones. It was just over microphone issues. Said we'll figure this out as we go. And I had other microphone issues before, and this just being one more of those. This is our finished tree. If I could stop complaining, this is a ponderosa pine that you and I took possession of last summer. It came to us. This is what's left. of the plug, because it didn't come potted. It was like a block of 10 little plugs that were just really tight and good looking little trees. And this guy has got like a dozen buds coming out here on the end. It's just basically begging us to rewire the rest of it. And we might do that. What I've done with this copper wire now means that we can fold this back up, or we can do any one of a number of other things. Do we want to? I think originally when I was showing y'all this tree, I had this part pointed up. What happened to that idea was this last little bit of wiring, but this last little bit of wiring also would have facilitated this if we so desire. Let's do that. Any wreckage? Not too much. Not too much. I wish I could bring that down and up. Well, which is it? Down or up? Both. Okay. Pat, be happy and stop messing with it. Yeah, no, I love that. I really love that. I'm having a wow moment right now. That's... You little buds, get out of there. Yeah, you little guys, get out of there. Okay. This is the last Lucy. This is the last loose little tree, the last little loose ponderosa that we had. And we pretzeled it up like a circus balloon animal, and bent a bunch of Cheerios into it last summer. And today I brought it in and we potted it up in this pot that we had that got sent to us from the UK from Elizabeth Crutenden. This is one of her pots. And I think these guys look really good together. And I was looking at this tree today, thinking what a good looking tree it was. And then I had noticed that part of the Nabari was actually buried. It came out of the ground and went back into the ground kind of like a serpent. And I was like, hey, this thing has got the best parts. Some of the best parts of this tree's story are going untold. So what we did was we changed the angle. We uncovered all of this stuff, which I could still uncover a little better. And we didn't reduce any of the roots. And we didn't and we didn't do a whole lot of styling to it. We did do a little bit of a bend to it, but we also fixed the wiring issue that we kind of last time we got to a place that for whatever reason we felt like we were lucky we hadn't done any damage. This time we went we took that little next step and got away with it. I don't know if I would have got away with it then or not, but it worked out well. It worked out well this time. So I'm gonna say, yeah, that was the right call. Like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Our next drop will be tomorrow. Is Sunday. I think it's going to be another beautiful Sunday. So I'll go out on the balcony and I'll have another whole day to I'll have a whole other day to recover from what we lost tonight with our with our live broadcast. But what we did get out of this, we still got a really nicely little potted up Ponderosa. And what I almost did was left it like I've left a lot of them. I have a lot of canyon trees that seem to take up 2 trees worth of space, which is what windswept trees look like. But we kind of brought this guy right back up at the last. I was kind of like, oh yeah, wasn't the idea to keep this guy kind of up because we had a funky shape going there. So that all played right into our evil hands. I appreciate you, and Frida appreciates you, and thank you so much for watching. I gotta water around there and stop camera now. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, really, I was just gonna